Well, hello, almost home. It's John O'Leary. Somehow I'm back at you again. I have the honor now of not only accepting this award of having a little bit of grit, but really of inviting and challenging each one of us to show a little bit more grit, to be the solution, not part of the problem. And so I wanted to share with you one example of one individual who showed up in my life with an awful lot of grit, an awful lot of determination, and an awful lot of faith. What he did for me, what I learned from him, and what it means for each and every one of us. So, like I mentioned earlier, I got burned when I was a little kid. I came home from the hospital. When I first came home, I'm just 9 years old. I can't walk. I can't move anything. I can't hold anything. Not incredible trophies, not pens, not anything, not even a cup of water. I could do nothing. My skin was just slowly starting to grow back. The muscle mass had not at all come back. So I'm seated in this wheelchair, and the therapist keep trying to get me to walk. And in the back of my mind, I am thinking, man, I'll never walk again, ever. I'll never walk. And I got a visit from a gentleman named Glenn Cunningham. Glenn came out of Kansas. He was an older guy. He came to my house in a red pickup truck. He was nearing 80 years old. And Glenn Cunningham came to my house. He rang the doorbell, and he asked if he and I could go on a short walk around the neighborhood. So I said, sure, man, I'll try. So this old guy and this little 9-year-old boy, and I'm bent over. This guy's got my arm, and he's guiding me around the neighborhood. It's like I'm the older gentleman, and he's the young man, because I'm bent over. I'm barely taking steps. It's really, really, really hard and really painful. And I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know why I'm walking around with him. And he starts telling me his story. He tells me that when he was 9 years old, same age I was, he was burned terribly. Burned so badly, in fact, that the doctors wanted to amputate his legs. But his mother refused. This incredible mom, ladies and men, said, you're not going to amputate my boy's legs. He's going to bounce back. He's going to do something in his life. And so the doctors don't amputate. Eventually, this boy survives. He comes home. And he still starts to slowly learn how to walk again. At first, it's really slow. His mother would kind of guide him around the house. And then she would take him by the arm and lead him all the way outside. They lived on a farm in Kansas. She would set him on the fence, and he would lean against the fence, and hand by hand, he would walk along the fence. The following day, he'd walk a little bit farther. The following day, just a little bit farther, and then farther. Then eventually, he'd hold on just with one hand. And then there was a day where he'd let go of the fence entirely, and he just started walking. Then he started jogging. Then he started running. If you look at Wikipedia, this great website, you will find, and if you search under Glenn Cunningham, that he was the fastest miler of all time in the 1930s. He ran, and he didn't just walk after being burned. He became the fastest human being in the world. He won a medal in the Olympics. This man was a phenomenal racer. And then Wikipedia ends the story by talking about all the awards, all the plaques, all the trophies that he received. And they missed the real part of Glenn Cunningham's story. When he came home from racing, when he came home from significance and achievement for himself, he got married, he had a baby, and then another one. And then there was a judge in town that called Glenn and said, hey, Glenn, we're having problems with a little boy. His parents just can't control him anymore. Would you and Ruth bring him under your wings and kind of just encourage this kid, foster this kid for a little bit? So Glenn Cunningham says yes to this one kid. And they do such a good job with this one kid that the judge, when another challenging child shows up, says, hey, Glenn, we got another one. And Ruth and Glenn say yes. Now they got 4. And then it happens again. And the neighbors start hearing about this. And then the community starts hearing about this. One by one, by one, by one, by one, by one, almost home, Glenn Cunningham and his wife Ruth onto their farm, onto their ranch, into their lives, into their home. Are you ready for this? They encourage, they help raise, they help instruct, they help foster, they help love, they help guide forward into life 9,000 children. This one ordinary guy who got burned terribly as a kid who goes on to learn to walk and then jog and then run and then sprint like nobody else, goes on to retire and then really start real life. He raises one kid and then a second and then a third and then a fourth and then a fifth. 9,000 children later, he helped change the world through his life, through his humility, through his selfless act of faithfulness and love. Not only did he change those 9,000 lives, but he changed a little boy who became a man who is talking with you right now named John O'Leary, because as he walked me around the block in my neighborhood, as I made it almost home, almost back to my house, I realized, you know what? Maybe someday I can walk again. Maybe, like really walk, not just hold onto someone else's arm and be guided forward by them, but maybe someday I'll jog. Maybe I can even run. Maybe, and this was a wild thing for me as a kid, maybe I'll find love. I'll find a little girl who will see past my hands and past my scars and see me for who I am, the beauty of my heart. Maybe this all can happen. That crazy vision for my tomorrow manifested, became possible during a walk with a man who had been in my shoes, who had been burned and learned to rise above. My friends, this is the great opportunity in front of each of us, each and every days of our life, to realize that we are not alone, that we aren't doing this thing by ourselves, that there are others who have walked this path before us, and that through their guidance, through their instruction, through their great love, and through our faithfulness, that we can walk it too, that we can raise these kids, that we can launch forward into life. And then here's, I think, the best part. You don't do it for yourself. You don't do it just, hey, take care of yourself, moms and dads and kids. You do it ultimately so that you can pour back into the community, so that you can instruct them, that you can guide them, that you can whisper into their hearts and into their lives that you too can do this. That's so powerful. That's the secret sauce of Almost Home. It's why I'm so honored to not only have received this award, but to remind each and every one of us of the value of our lives and the ability to influence even more lives going forward. So I want to thank you, ladies, thank you, men, for the opportunity to be with you tonight. I want to remind you that the best days are yet to come, and I want to remind you loud and clear, it will not be easy. It may not be popular. There will be a lot of folks that say it will never happen. You can't do it. You can't make change that grandiose. You can't change society. And yet I tell you right now, you can change one. And if you can change one, you can probably change two. And if you can change two, maybe even three or 9,000 or more. So I'm a buyer, and I believe our best days here in St. Louis and beyond are in front of us. So God bless you, ladies. God bless you, men. Have an awesome day. Enjoy the festivities for this time. And until next time, this is your friend, John O'Leary, and this is our day. Live inspired.